special guest in the house tonight. Man, you may have heard this name in this reggae revival. I'm not sure you're familiar with the face. He moved on a different wavelength. But I'm happy to introduce the one and only I-Nation to the TGM Radio Kingline Caribbean Showcase. Introduce yourself.
Yes, I give thanks, sir. Rastafari.
Okay. Now, for the listeners who may not be familiar with the man they call I-Nation, he has a movement that he started a couple of years ago, and it's gaining strength. And it's a beautiful movement that we at Kingline Caribbean Showcase would like the listeners to know about. Now, we're going to start it off by making you do your own introduction, explain to the people who I-Nation is and what I-Nation represents and what it stands for.
Yes, I give thanks once more, Rastafari. Give thanks Caribbean Showcase, Father German there, Then the whole family then,
Respect.
Whole Brooklyn family, Rastafari. Yeah, man, well, I-Nation, I-Nation represent enlightenment, empowerment of the youths and ones, And as I said, Reggae Revival is a whole movement where bring back a conscious vibration to the music once more. And you can't have a consciousness vibration or a conscious movement without knowledge. So that's where I-Nation comes in, providing the knowledge so the ones that can uplift them consciousness, bring it to a higher level,
Okay, to expand on what Mr. I-Nation is saying when he says he helps provide the knowledge in this reggae revival, what this gentleman actually does is he sells books to the massive.
Yes, I.
Okay, we're gonna get into the type of books you sell, what your movement represents and what it's about. But before we get there, what made you get into actually becoming a bookseller or a seller of knowledge, I should say?
Well, it's the love of reading, of self, Yeah, and then in 2003, they had a global reason, a Rastafari global reason for the university campus in Jamaica, And there I met a sister from Brooklyn here too. She was from Brooklyn here, a sister named Rochelle Brown. And she introduced her to a book called Wretched of the Earth by Franz Fanon. And it's from reading that book now, it's like the heavens bust up. And I couldn't find those caliber books in our regular bookstore. The same sister started supply I with books, and I started sharing them with Bridget, and Bridget showed interest, and I said, wow, go on.
Okay, now I know it's 3 more books that you haven't mentioned as yet. But before we get to those, let's start off with the one that you first mentioned. What was it in that publication that was so powerful that it basically put you on a path to where you're at now?
Well, the book basically deal with violence in a sense, and then we come from Tivoli Ghana, which is a violent-prone community, Grew up, eat, breed violence. So, but the book give violence from a holistic perspective, show you if you do violence, it can't be some personal benefit. It can't just be for personal benefit, it have to be to the upliftment of the community, or the family or something. So it's like, yeah. It really bring a diabolical change in our life, that book,
Oh, okay. Now, I haven't read the book, but based on what you just said, I have one quick question.
Yeah.
The book teaches you violence in a holistic setting, you say?
Yeah,
okay.
I would say teach you, but from my perspective, being that I am from a violent community, all the violence you see, it was like a selfish.
Okay.
People just practice violence for some selfish means,
Okay.
So it's like, yes, it's violent up on a whole different level, So, if you have practice violence, it can't just be, if you just take care of you or for just your own personal benefit, it must benefit the wider community, the wider family.
Well, we're gonna go into this discussion right now, because what you're saying is actually blowing my mind right now, because my next question for you would be, in what aspect of life is violence appropriate? Or you would say it's good, it's for a good purpose?
Well, if somebody's oppressing you and the only way they can communicate that to the oppression is violent, then you have to use violence.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like even slavery days, if they didn't rise up with violence, we'll still be in shackles the same way today. You know?
Okay.
And even now, same way with the whole about killing taking place. Just the other day, you have Black Lives Matters and all of that. And yeah, and
Okay.
you know, you
Yeah.
have to get rough, you know, more time you ever fight fire with fire.
Okay.
You know?
So that's the first book. And once again, the title of that book was.
Wretched of the Earth, Franz Fanon.
Okay. I'm glad you could actually remember these names and educate the listeners, because I want the listeners here to go out and look for these publications Mr. Our Nation is speaking about right now.
Yeah.
Okay, now growing up, as you say, in TG, a rough community, what was your basic, are you self-taught, or did you go to secondary school and move on to college in Jamaica?
Well, we go high school, one of the better high school them would have said in Jamaica, but schooling now is like, the official schooling is like, it's really indoctrination, you know, it's really like, it not really empower you and enlighten you. You know, it's socially engineered to just fit a role within society. You know, so and from early out I did identify that, so I did kind of rebellious against that, so I never really want to excel within the system. You know, like I never really have the ambition to be anything or become anything within the system. You know, I just have a vision to just change the system.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
If you're familiar with this gentleman, once again, Mr. Our Nation, he has a saying, a term that he uses. I've seen you use it on a couple occasions. I believe it's sovereign thinking. Explain the background behind that term in your words.
Sovereign thinking.
Yes.
Conquer yourself and the world will come to clay. You know? So it's like, you gotta be, there is no greater power with outside of you that is within you. You know, even the Bible tell you that. The greatest power lies within. You know, so if you can identify with that power, then you just identify with the supremacy within yourself. You live from that angle, from that orientation. You know?
Okay. Did you grow up in a Rastafarian household?
Well, that a Rastafari, but it's not one of them Rastafari the way, you know, a teacher Rastafari. What I learned from Rastafari is just observing him live it. And then he was a youth, you never even like pay attention and realize, see, I learn is really in manhood days, I look forward and say, yo, you know, and I recognize that them lessons they went that teacher without even uttering a word, you know. So even this 2003 Global Reason was our first real exposure to the Rastafari family per se.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the reason I asked that is because growing up as a young man, your formidable years, are there people in Jamaica, coming out of such a rough community as TG Gardens, is there people in Jamaica that you look to, I don't want to say as a forefather, but as an inspiration, I'm saying, to become a sovereign thinker?
Yeah, but right away you have to Garvey, you know. Yeah, because Garvey, you study Garvey, you live Garvey, and Garvey teach you that Garvey teach you sovereign learner. Garvey says anything you learn in school, you can learn on your own. You just need to acquire the books, go to the library daily, you just acquire it on your own.
And pardon me for that, it's actually sovereign learning.
Yeah.
That's the term.
Yeah.
Pardon me for that. Okay, moving on. You're wearing the t-shirt and blazing across the front, Inner City Dub.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that movement. Last year, I met a young man from Jamaica by the name of Lion Tribe, and he started explaining the Inner City Dub to me.
Yeah.
But you explain it to me in your words now.
Well, Inner City Dub spring forth from my nation book and necessities, you know. And then what music can do, nothing else can, you know. You know, music is that powerful force, you know. So it's like there's a dub vibration taking place in Jamaica from a couple of years back now. You know, you have Kingston Dub Club, Job Wise, you know, Violent Thursday. So it's like with all these sessions confined to the uptown space. And I be from the garrison say, yo, we need it down there. So you invited to need it down there than uptown. So
Right.
just say Inner City Dub and just everyone
That's exactly what Lion Tribe said to me. He said, anyone familiar with the Dub Club, they know it's up on Skyline.
Yeah.
Certain different areas, but you guys wanted to bring something to the inner city.
Yeah, man. It's needed. Cause if you check the youths them that are committing the violence, they're not listening to a Israel vibration or a burning spear. You know, they are listening to hardcore dancehall. So you want to bring forth that change, you know?
Okay. Uh, Again, you on Monday nights. That's the inner city dub.
Yeah.
If you want to come down and check it out. Uh, do you guys, even though you are in the garrison, do you tend to get the same crowd as up on the hill dub
Yeah,
crowd?
that's a sad reality still is like even keeping inner city dub in the garrison, most of the patrons are the same uptown ones, them are foreigners following it up, you know. It's like the garrison don't really appreciate love it so much, you know, they are so glued and hooked to the hardcore dancehall that they are not so willing to come and stand up all night and listen to cultural music. You know, it's like over time it's growing on them. You know, we've been doing it for a year now, our RC been growing on them. You know, initially they weren't like loving it up and glad
They
for
didn't
it.
gravitate
You know? I
towards
mean, when they just, cause they thought it was just a regular session and the dub vibes would just be part of it and then they could get there in hardcore dancehall. So when they realized it was straight, you know, cultural conscious vibration, they were like, oh, you keep part of your Rasta friend, them now come on, you know. That vibration there. But we're going on them, cause it's a mission, you know, mission is not better roads. You know, mission comes with struggle, you know.
True.
Okay, speaking of the struggle, I know when you first started out, you said you hopped on your bicycle, and you rode around to studios and you linked with artists.
Yeah.
These artists at the time that you were linking with, from my knowledge, were considered dancehall artists.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. The reggae revival started, so you were able to be amongst artists with the same mind frame, the same liberty as yourself. When you were linking with the dancehall artists, did you meet resistance, or did the artists embrace you and understood what you were trying to do at that point in time?
Well, it's a mixture of both, you know. Yeah, certain artists, you know, while some of them definitely buy book and read and encourage and, you know, love the vibration of the works I was doing, you know. Yeah, even a bounty killer enough one would even expect for read, and them man they read a lot. You know, man they buy them book and yeah, when them see me some knowledge, you know, that's his name for, you know. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Apart from actually selling publications within the reggae revival setting, are you doing anything other than that as far as providing books to kids maybe in the inner city?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about the other things that you do besides working within the reggae revival with the education.
Yeah, right now we network with even some brethren from Rasta City, you know, because Rasta City is the ends and in Tivoli Garden, set up a little library there. There are some books there we use them from the community can come and utilize as well. You know, we even just get a container ourselves to set up part of it as a library and part of it as a bookstore as well. You know, so the work's going on, and we live in the garrison, we live in the community, so we're always giving out books to ones who even can't purchase. You know, even from our personal library, we're letting books continually to ones, you know.
Okay. And if you see this man, he's usually traveling around wherever you link him or you see him. He usually has a table with publications readily available for purchase. That in itself seems like a lot of hard work for one man to do. Are you getting any help from outside sources as far as maybe funding to purchase books, funding to fill the library, for instance?
Well, no, not directly. We're there. We don't have a sponsor for nothing. And even for inner city dog, we just do it, you know? And it just happen. Yeah, it's like we can't identify one here and say, yeah, I want the sponsor in this, I want the sponsor in that, you know? Yeah.
Okay. Now, as far as the publications, and I'm going to reach across here in a few and grab a couple of these books so you can show them to the YouTube viewers.
Yes,
But how do you go about getting your hands on these particular publications? Because you're not just selling any type of book.
No.
Knowledgeable books.
Yeah.
A lot. Are they all black authors?
Not all of them, but most of them.
Most.
You have some white artists that just come and speak the truth, you know.
Okay. The truth should always be accepted.
Yeah.
No matter who's
Yeah,
coming
man,
from.
yeah, crucify the messenger, just get the message, man. Don't get caught up with the messenger, you know.
Okay, so back to my question. How do you go about finding these particular publications that you want to pass on to the masses?
Well, as I said, initially it's from that same sister in Russia who start supply us, and then you don't know more than other things but Jah plan, Jah work with you. You know, so it's like in that early days I met link up back forward with that empress named Sister Mitzi. That Sister Mitzi now she linked with a virgin from Chicago, Frontline Publishing. So in the early days they were my main suppliers, and they done already deal with black conscious books. You know? And then we just branch out ourselves now further, and we'll seek them out. You know, get supply from here in New York. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have specific distributors that make the task a little bit easier, or are you going out seeking out certain books, getting copies of those books to pass on to the people?
Well, I don't have to search, you know. I just met the link on this network, and wherever I have to get it, we just get it. You know, most time people just tell us which book they need to, and we just source it for them. You know. Yeah. Yeah, that is a sad thing being here still. Since I was coming here, I thought I would have seen much more black bookstores about the place. And from being here, I haven't seen a black bookstore, you know?
Yes, yeah. Well, I could definitely take you around in Brooklyn. We could find a couple. I know a few. Okay, so don't be discouraged.
That's good.
But I'm looking at some of these publications that you have here, and it seems like you're going across a wide range of topics. Tell us about some of the topics that when someone link our nation,
yeah, man,
and they look on the table, what type of?
We have historical books that show you, you know, African history prior to slavery. You know, then we have books that deal with spirituality, you know, step into your divine self. We have books that deal with Rastafari, liberty, books deal with personal development. You know, it's a wide cross section of books, but we try to just keep it African-centered, conscious. You know. Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking at a breeding manual.
Yeah.
Spiritual development manual now. So it's a wide range of things. Do you also educate people as far as diet, food, eating health-wise?
Yeah, we carry a whole lot of health books as well, you know, African Holistic Health, Lally Africa, a lot of Queen Afua books as well, you know. Yeah, okay. and even it's much more than a selling books. More time I'm like a counselor, you know. Yeah, more time ones even just come and tell me some issues and I say, you're a nation, I need a book for this and that, and I have to just get a book. You know, like even one time I remember sister in famous personality come and say, I need a baby, you know, I want to get pregnant, and you know, I need a book, and I have to recommend, you know, recommend a book where I deal with them health issues, and them thing, the relationship books, people have issues, relationship, you know.
Yes, yeah. That's the thing that Dennis Brown was talking about. You bringing that milk and honey right now.
Yeah.
Sniper, we're gonna take a little pause. Give the listeners, I'm saying, something to listen to, and come back with Mr. I Nation, TGM Radio, King Line Caribbean Showcase. Tell them about that milk and honey. TGM Radio, King Line Caribbean Showcase. We back. Special guest in the house tonight, I Nation, Peddler of Knowledge. Yes. Yeah, that's a nice title. I like that for you right there. Okay, you're here in New York now, and you're here with your books, of course. Anywhere you see this young man, he has the books available. Tell us a little bit about you moving outside of Jamaica with your books. Do you consider this you going on tour?
No, not really. This is a personal chat, you know. Come visit mom and yeah.
Okay.
But you don't know, still have to represent the brand same way as they would say, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that. Anyway you see this young man, he has that knowledge with him. Have you been to any other countries apart from Jamaica and coming to New York?
Yeah, 2014 we were invited to the Rotterdam Reggae Festival in Spain.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was a good experience, you know? That one of the experience really inspired I even more to come and start up the Inner City Dub Because
Okay.
at that festival, I see that the young white teenagers, them are cling to the dub music. You know, I was surprised to see the dub session and so much young teenagers full it up and, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Jamaica, you know, I see that, you know. Straight dance all the youths I'm cling to, so, yeah.
Uh, we in the midst of a revival now, so I guess the younger youths have more faces they're familiar with now with the emergence of artists such as Chronics and Protege and stuff like that. But what do you think is the main reason for the way the kids interpret and accept music now in Jamaica?
Well, it's what they are fed, you know. You know, as teachers should say, you can't blame the youths, and that is really true. You can't blame the youths because it's what they are fed. From 81 from the King transition, the system being feeding the nation dancehall. And if you really check the history of the music, you recognize reggae has never been the popular music of Jamaica. And in the glory decades, the 70s of reggae, reggae was still underground music. It wasn't the accepted music, you know. That's the reality. And dancehall from its comfort in the 80s become accepted. So music being played on the radio everywhere, you know. But reggae was never officially the music of the country. Unofficially it is, you know, but it was underground music. Reggae wasn't being played on the radio in the 70s. Bob Marley, people, Bobby Willie tell you that they have to go and bad up these jockeys to get the music played. You know, while it's a different thing with dancehall, say, it's the leaders, it's a part of the social engineering. You know, because reggae is a part of the African world revolution that was taking place at the time in the 70s. You know, reggae could identify with the African world revolution. You know, by the time the 80s, this African revolution, world revolution become like died out. You know, the Black Power movement here and all the conscious movement worldwide was like kind of died out by the 80s. It's gangsterism and just money and drugs and things take over the vibration. There was no conscious vibration no more. You know, dancehall no wasn't you know, not promoting consciousness in a way. It's just merriment. You know,
Okay.
enjoying yourself, you know. And that's what they want. That way the leaders want to keep you bamboozled. You know, you're not supposed to be enlightened. Because if you want to be enlightened, you're going to be empowered. You know, they don't really want us to be empowered.
Okay, so now we in the midst of a reggae revival. Certain artists I speak to, they don't like that term because they've been always doing the roots, but it's coming back to the forefront. With life, they say sometimes everything is a cycle, so it's coming back to the forefront.
As I said, as I said, reggae was a part of the African world revolution, and then dancehall became like the betrayal of that African world revolution and the island of Jamaica, you know, in a sense. And this reggae revival now is a soul revolution, because if you check the reggae revival, the main artists of the reggae revival are not from the ghetto per se. They are more uptown youths.
Okay.
You know?
Tell us who are some of these artists in the midst of this revival now that iNation is moving with, or not even per se that you're moving with, but you like the message they put forth and you would like to give them an endorsement now?
Yeah, man, like Kabaka Pyramid, you know, Janine, of course, you know, even Chronic's Prodigy, all of them, you know. But if you check them, they are not from the ghetto. You know, they are uptown youths, they got good school and all of that. But it's a soul revolution. They can't identify with their class. They don't want to identify with their class. You know, they want to identify with something bigger than that. So they can't just come and just sing music just to make hits or to just, you know, aggregate themselves and become celebrity. They want to bring forth a change. You know, so they choose to do a particular set of music, you know, against the other youth them who just want the music just to shut and make money. You know, so you have to give them the thumbs up for that, because
Yes.
they are being responsible with what they are doing, you know.
Yes. Okay, now earlier I made mention of the four corners and four books that shaped who iNation is. Before you answer that question, the name iNation, what is the meaning behind iNation?
Right, you might have to ask Russia, you know, because she really give her that name, you know. But she said it's just like, it's just I spirit. When she gave her the name, she says I spirit, you know, I'm like all about the nation and I'm trying to awake the nation to their higher self, you know, so the I nation, you know.
Okay, now It's funny that you have the saying that it's the four corners of our nation and four books shaped what you started, this journey that you're on now. We spoke about one of the books earlier. Is the actual four books what represents the four corners of our nation?
Well, I don't know, you tell I, because you know the other three books, so from your perspective, what do I think?
Okay, well, I wouldn't be able to answer that question, and I'll tell you why now. Because you gained that knowledge, and you used that knowledge to begin the journey you're on now. So you interpreted that knowledge in your own way. So I wouldn't be able to answer that question for you. But tell us about those other three books.
Yeah, Niggas to Gods by Akil, you know. Yeah, that's a very good book now, and the book, you know, just show you just, and the way I like that book now, it's not an academic book, it's just written in a layman term, you know, so any little gangster, any little hood, or any, you know, person who don't love to read, will take it up and like and read, and then it's written in essay form, you know, so it's easy to read, it's not like a one long thing, you know, so you can read that chapter today, read that chapter tomorrow, so, yeah.
Okay, what was the name of that book again?
Niggas to Gods, from Niggas to Gods.
Shout out to Bubbles, because she Empress Bubbles is in the background. She obviously read that book.
God is black woman.
Yes,
Go
sir.
for the woman too.
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right. Easy, Bubbles. Easy. Easy.
Yeah, but bless up Bubbles. Bless her love.
Okay. So that's another book that we just put the listeners on to for you to go and check out.
Yeah.
And what are the other two?
And then there's one called Iceman Inheritance by Michael Bradley, a prehistoric source of white man's racism, sexism, and aggression. And Michael Bradley is a white brother. I'm of some Indian blood in him, but, you know, white brother. And him know show you say, yeah, white people though are really the perpetrators of all the violence on earth, you know. So that book was really eye-opener as well. And then you have this other book now called First Steps to Freedom by Ronald Shan. That book now I deal with spirituality though, non-attachment, you know. So that book, well, we really like that book. Show if you just let go of things, don't be attached to nothing, you know, just free with the spirit, just the mission, you know.
Okay. So there you have it. You could go and check out those four books. Are these books available online as well?
You have to check. Yeah, I should think so.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
a long time I haven't seen the First Steps to Freedom though, because I'm trying to get like a copy for myself. So been a while I haven't seen it, but all the others, and you can always link Nation for the others as well, you know.
I'll keep my eye out for that other one here for you too. Okay, now again, you see iNation tried in any way. You got the knapsack full of knowledge. You can get those books from him. But are there other ways that the listeners could reach out to you and purchase books? Do you have a digital store set up?
Well, we use the Facebook, you know.
Okay.
Facebook page is iNation Book and Necessities. From the like the page, you can always inbox us on the page, you know.
Okay.
Just, yeah, and the phone numbers and even the Instagram, yeah. Play with the social network and look a bit, you know.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
We're big proponents of the social network if you're using it correctly. Are you also on Twitter?
I have an account, but it's a sister, yeah.
Okay, Twitter is a little bit
Yeah.
less manageable, but Instagram and Facebook basically give the listeners that one way to reach you easily. So
Yeah, man, the
that's
phone
good.
numbers, easy, and now with the, it don't matter where you're at in the world, cause with the WhatsApp, you know, you can always call, so you don't have to worry about the cost of it.
Okay,
Phone
so
numbers, you know.
if you're interested in any of those publications that we've spoken of so far, you can link him on Facebook. That's us.
iNation Books and Necessities, yeah, that's the page from your find that page. Or you can shout the number 876-466-3662. That's 876-466-3662. Or 876-815-6207. 815-6207. Yeah.
Okay. Coming out of, once again, a garrison community in Jamaica. What was it like growing up within garrison community such as the Valley Gardens, and you have a interesting outtake on why these garrisons were created and what they were modeled after. And I'd like you to share that with the listeners now.
Well, the garrison, as I said, Tivoli was like the first garrison, really bit, you know, the destroyer, the bulldozer done, a Rastafari community that was there, Prince Emmanuel Place was there, Baka Wall, and they modeled it off a Pinnacle, you know, Pinnacle, and we've said in Jamaica, you know, and Pinnacle was a community founded and developed by Leonard Howell, you know, first Rasta, you know, self-sufficient, school, health center, everything up there. You know, one time when, I even hear the history, one time when Jamaica was run out of food, some drought or whatever, Pinnacle was had surplus, and Bustamante come and link up to get food, and Leonard Howell giving the food to give away, but you know, politicians today, they want to sell it, you know, sell it and make money, but Leonard Howell tells them to give it away. It also the community had the largest ganja plantation up there as well, you know, Pinnacle. So after they destroyed it in 1954, they officially destroyed it, you know, May 23rd. And you see everything play out in history. And because Tivoli was officially destroyed in May 23rd, 2010. You know, so from 54 May 23rd to 2010 May 23rd, same way, you know. But now the difference between a Pinnacle and the garrison now is just that Pinnacle was holistic and African-centered conscious and for the betterment and upliftment of the people, while the garrisons now is just exploited, you know, in service of one of the two major political parties. You know, they don't serve the people or the interests or the welfare of the people, but they serve the politicians and securing their votes. You know.
How is it that you growing up within that community, you stayed away from the politics and joining the gangs?
I guess it's our father, and I have to give thanks to our father. It's a legend, living legend, Finger Jet, you know. He's a tradesman. Welding is our family trade, and have a welding shop. So all of us grew up in the welding shop. So we always have that alternative. And it's a man who always tell us literally, say, yo, I fired enough gun for you, and I have no need for firing a gun. And him don't mean literally him firing enough gun for us, it just mean the liberty went set. We don't have no need for firing a gun, nobody never ever disrespect me, and I believe to see that, the truth of that. Wherever I child and I want to know, says Finger that is high father, the respect up, you know, so, yeah, it's just the liberty of the father, just observing his liberty, you know.
Okay. Once again, we're blessed to have Mr. I Nation here with us today. He's in New York. I don't know how much longer you're in New York, if you plan on being at any upcoming events. But if you are, let the listeners know.
Well, as I said, it was a personal challenge, you know. You know, just come look for moms and just, you know, relax with our for a moment. So we didn't really plan to do any events, you know. It just Father German reach out to come and sit in and reason with I, and you don't know. We ain't going to turn it down, you know. Father German, all respect to that, you know.
Okay, so you could still link him on Facebook, Instagram. The interview will be out on YouTube next week, so you can check us out. Get those numbers if you want to link him up, you know what I'm saying, and make it happen. The peddler of knowledge.
Yeah, man, and we just want to tell the ones put us, keep them head up, you know, and just know self-sufficiency, you know, self-supremacy, you know, and don't be ashamed to be black. Don't be ashamed to be conscious. You know, because more time one feel like if you're conscious is like something bad, that is a nerd or something like that. Or don't be ashamed to be conscious and, you know, to be powerful. You know, be proud of the African heritage. You know, yeah, man, and stand up for your rights, you know. Yeah, you asked a question earlier when it was right for violence. And you know, violence is always right when you're protecting yourself. You know. We don't really believe in turning the other cheek, you know.
Rastafari.
The only time you do that is when you're there on a higher spiritual realm and people are there on them realm there, you know.
Okay.
So, yeah, man, defend yourself.
TGM Radio, King Lion Caribbean Showcase. Once again, it was a blessing. Any one of these books that you want to mention, particularly once again before we tune out, that the listeners should definitely link you.
Well, most time one's So we set up a table in Jamaica and ones that come and say, what the most powerful book on the table? And I would say, Wise Man and His Majesty. And then when I see one, I said, go man, show a Rasta and show His Majesty. And I said, nah man, once you read that, everything else is nice, you know? So I would really recommend the one there, Wise Man of His Imperial Majesty. Wherever you can copy it, you even have to copy it from mine. But wherever you can copy, just get it and make it be a daily bread. And I guarantee it will bring changes to your life, you know?
Yes,
That's the
yes. TGM Radio, King Long Caribbean Showcase. It was a pleasure. Once again, iNation. Check him out online, Facebook, Instagram. iNation Books and Necessities. And get that knowledge he's peddling right now because
Yes, I
it works. TGM Radio. Stay tuned. We got a lot more for you.